I love that because it blows open all expectations and you can kind of just wait and let the music happen to you, which is what you should be doing anyway. Now, back to the music. She was running a tap directly into her mouth and face. And I don't know why, but I hope she figures it out. Welcome back to another reaction video, and this one is going to be something completely different, and for a couple of reasons. Number one, I do not know this artist. I've never heard her before, so there's your first clue. And number two, it has a pretty spectacular feature. Almost thought it was a joke, but apparently not. It's real. So we're going to dive straight into this one. I have no idea what to expect. I don't know the music. I don't know what I'm in for, but that's pretty much the most fun you can have when you do reactions. So, without further ado, here is Raye with Click Clack Symphony, featuring the one and only Hans Zimmer. You know, Dark Knight, Interstellar, Inception, Gladiator. What are we in for? Let's see what you got.
Did you know the odds to be born on this earth's 1 in 400 trillion? I conquered those odds, yet I can't conquer leaving this house. I eat, sleep, scroll and work, but there has to be more than just merely existing. In fact, I was thinking there's not enough wine in the fridge to unleash me in this feeling. Fiends for some feminine healing. By that I mean I called my girls and said SOS, pick a dress, pick a time and an address for the outgoing of tonight. Send a call out, send a call out. Calling all my baddest women, it's about to go down. Click, 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 clack, symphony, I need that. Click, 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 clack, symphony, I love the sound of it. You let the girls out. I did, darling. She's empowered by the sound of us marching. Her legs are hurting, but her back is still arching. And the sound reminds me that it's going to be alright. And I never could have guessed I started my morning in tears. Got a great waterproof mascara I can recommend. I should try my luck in Hollywood and find some auditions, because the way I fake this smile could pay the mortgage and the rent. Climbing to my lonely throne before my TV. I feel alone, I feel like no one really needs me. So thank you, Carly, for having a sixth sense and for calling to remind me we don't settle for depression on a Friday night. I need a pet.
Okay, hang on a hot second. My God. So, first of all, she's British. Bottle of water. Sorry, I had to. Her voice sits well within that, like, kind of indie Lily Allen kind of space, where it's more like you can tell there's a real quality to her voice, but a lot of it is spoken, and it's spoken in a very pretty and beautiful way. It's kind of halfway between speaking and singing. And I don't know how powerful her voice is, but power is not the thing that's happening here, not vocally. What they're doing is what you see a lot of people do wrong, except here it's really pretty, which is when you have a choir effect or you have multiple recordings, or you're trying to create that chorus of vocal, typically it's to provide power to an individual main vocal, which then stands out above everything else. But in this case, they're kind of all equal, at least almost. It feels like 180% split. And so then you just get this like multiple vocal for a lot of moments, and it's a lot of different dynamics, which I find really interesting. And it is so easy to get wrong. Not here though. Very cool. The Hans Zimmer thing is interesting because you do expect the epicness and all of the scoring and stuff to come into it. But it's like, how do you do it without fighting for the limelight? And so far, absolutely perfect. There's a lot you can do when you bring in something like classical instrumentation or scoring, or even in the digital world, to a traditional sound, because then what you end up having is you throw away the rules to a large degree. When it's a typical 4 or 5 piece band, you kind of know what's coming in. So anytime you hear something different, there seems to be the trend of saxophones nowadays, trumpets, it feels really special and it kind of defies logic. And so here, when you get those percussive big hits on the drums that come in out of nowhere, there's no structure or formula to it, at least not on a first listen. There will be when you listen back, but it's all built intensity. It's all building a mood, an urgency. And I love that because it blows open all expectations and you can kind of just wait and let the music happen to you, which is what you should be doing anyway. Now, back to the music, she was running a tap directly into her mouth and face. And I don't know why, but I hope she figures it out.
I feel like no one really needs me. So thank you, Carly, for having a sixth sense and for calling to remind me we don't settle for depression on a Friday night. I need a pep talk, I need a hug, I need a dance floor. I got one little life, I need to get out the house more and really start living it. Heavy as the burdens that are weighing on me, I will lay them down under some pink and blue lights. Call my girls instead as always, make a dress, make a time and a dress for me, all going out. Send a call out, send a call out. Calling all my baddest women, it's about to go down. Click, 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 clack, symphony, I need that. Click, 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 clack, symphony, I love the sound of it. You let the girls out. I did, darling. She's empowered by the sound of us marching. Her legs are hurting, but her back is still arching. And the sound reminds me that it's going to be alright. Jimmy Choo, it's time to open up the closet. It's a sad sight to see me never blown it. Gather cobwebs. Why I'm like an alien in every dress I try side. Every time my music louder and pretend it's fine. Anything that's hurt me, left to give up on me.
Oh man, that's cool. That's cool. You see a lot of environmental sounds with certain artists. Raye is one of them. That was cool. Putting the headphones in, making it feel more isolated, changing the dynamic, even for a moment. And then that becomes part of the recording, right? And then that becomes part of the song, part of the live performance. And it just is the song versus a version of it that lives in one digital landscape. The click clacking, it's really cool because when you create a percussive sound, even if it is through like a Foley studio with someone, a Foley studio is where you go and you record sound effects for movies or radio or anything else. And like, it's so cool. Then in one corner, you'll have a staircase, but the staircase is almost split in three. It's like, here's a wood part, here's a metal part, here's a, I don't know, like a gravel part, like, and then there's different boots and shoes. So you can kind of play around with whatever sound you're looking for. This is supposed to be that marching beat. So you go from this quicker beat to, but even in those moments where it's like a harp time, the boots aren't hitting at the same time, purposefully so. There's this like coupling effect that it's almost like a gallop without the third part. And the reason that that's handy is because it feels authentic. It never quite feels like an instrument, even though it technically is. And it just pushes it away from traditional music, which I think is probably quite saturated in terms of experimentation, especially for genres like this. Might be speaking out of turn here. Pretty sure I'm not, though.
Sad sight to see me never blown it. Gather cobwebs. Why I'm like an alien in every dress I try side. Every time my music louder and pretend it's fine. Anything that's hurt me, left to give up on me. Am I just a product of everything that was done to me? Run to me, come to me, someone bring the sun to me. I can see the glimmer of the girl who won't believe. She needs a pep talk. She needs a hug, she needs a dance floor. She's got one little life, she needs to get out the house more and try and start living it. Heavy as the burdens that are weighing on me, I will lay them down under some pink and blue lights. Call my girls instead as always, make a dress, make a time and a dress for me. Send a call out, send a call out. Calling all my baddest women, it's about to go down. Click, 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 clack, symphony, I need that. Click, 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 clack, symphony, I love the sound of it. You let the girls out. I did, darling. She's empowered by the sound of us marching. Her legs are hurting, but her back is still arching. And the sound reminds me that it's going to be alright. Though this season of her life had been cold, lonely, and tough, though she slipped back into a darkness she had hoped by now to have overcome, she had learned a beautiful lesson as she kissed her girls goodbye and thanked them for getting her out the house. That maybe everything was going to be alright. And even if only for a moment, everything is going to be alright. Yeah, it's going to be alright. Going to be alright. Send a call out, calling all my baddest women, it's about to.
I'm going to just say this and then I'll shut up because this is so cool. The storytelling element, like I'm getting information from the people watching this. And what I mean by that is I record these live on Twitch every Friday at 1 p.m. Arizona time. You should join us. I'll put a link. Well, there's always a link below. Join the Discord, come and join us and put your requests in. And it's a real good time. Getting information that she is an independent artist. And that's partly why her success and massive success, I believe, is so special, is because she did it on her own, kind of in the face of adversity against the industry, if you will, or despite the industry is probably a better way of saying that. And when you do stuff like that, there's no restraints, because when you bet on yourself and you've taken a chance as an artist and it pays off, it's kind of like the gates flood open. Do whatever you want. People clearly love you and the authenticity that is you, and so do more of that. So that little moment there where she stops and speaks, very Ren-like, it just takes a break away from the song. It seems really cool the way they've done this video as well. I mean, the music notes were really cool. I like that. But just on a street that could be any street in England. I mean, quite literally, that could have been down the road from where I used to live in Nottingham. It could have been anywhere. And it's awesome. I love what they're doing. It feels special and packaged and premium, but it also feels very accessible and very everyman. Does that make sense? It should. I like it.
Go down, click, 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 clack symphony, I need that. Click, 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 clack symphony, I love the sound of it, good like a girl's. I did, darling. She's empowered by the sound of us marching. Her legs are hurting, but her back is still arching. And the sound reminds me that he's going to be on. She put her headphones in, and there she danced under the weight of her clouds. But for the first time in a long time, she believed that one day she would again feel the sun. She must be patient. She must have faith in the seeds that are planted beneath the snow. She must hold on, and she must let go. She'll be alright. No riding shining armored knight. She will save herself this time. And in fact, tonight, she did confirm. The cold never lasts, my darling. It just teaches the heart how to burn.
Man, that's cool. I do think, though, about like spectators, young kids playing in the field below her, running home going, "Mom, there's a lady dancing on the top of the hill in a bit of red fur." And they're like, sure there is. It's great. And you know what the best part about that was? If I can actually find where to move that off. I didn't really think that much about Hans Zimmer. Like, it's recognizable, you know, the moments of impact, the little nods to adding value to music and not trying to make it a score or a spectacle is absolutely present, and you can kind of feel that there's a layer, an extra layer that is unexpected, but it's still all about her. It's still all about her music, which I really like. I was hoping that would be the case, and it wouldn't be. Sometimes you get features, especially with names like that, where it's like, what? And then it becomes that person's song, kind of, or they just feature for like 12 seconds and then they off, and you're like, that was hardly worth it. This felt really cool. And again, I don't know any of her other music. I mean, I might. I don't recognize her name. But that's part of the reason I started this channel. Is I kind of lived in a bubble of the music I was listening to. So trying to explore more. And if you've watched this one, despite what your traditional tastes are, good on you. Well done. Well done to us both. And if you like this and you want more, or if you have more information about her, or like a live performance from her you'd like me to check out, please send it through in the comments, and I absolutely promise you I'll get to it. Now, back to more music. Until the next one, please be safe, be nice to each other, and have a damn good day.